Thank you, Madam Speaker. Since joining the Congress, I've been working across the aisle on a piece of critical legislation, the Dam Safety Act, which gives communities all across America the support they need to ensure dams have the highest safety standards possible. Many of these provisions were included in the bipartisan Water Resources Reform and Development Act, known as WRDA, which overwhelmingly passed the House just a few weeks ago by a 417-3 vote margin. I certainly want to thank Chairman Schuster and the Ranking Member Rahal and Subcommittee Ranking Member Bishop for the leadership on WRDA and for working closely with me on this important issue. With major storms like Irene, Hurricane Sandy, and Tropical Storm Lee becoming more and more frequent, I believe Congress needs to place a higher priority on strengthening our infrastructure, particularly our oldest and often most vulnerable infrastructure, our dams. Should our dam infrastructure fail in the midst of these storms, the effects could be far more catastrophic and immediate than most other components of our state's infrastructure, endangering people's lives, their property, and their livelihoods. Our country has over 87,000 dams, and approximately 10,000 of these dams are what's known as high-hazard dams. There are dams in virtually every congressional district and community across the country. The failure of any of these high-hazard dams would cause widespread damage and loss of life, and of course major economic disruption. And approximately 40% of these high-hazard dams do not have an emergency action plan. I'd like to say that again. More than 40% of our most important dams, the high-hazard dams, the failure of which could cause the loss of life or major property damage, do not have an emergency action plan. We live in a world now where we have these extreme weather events, and you don't want to find out the dam is going to fail when you have a superstorm. The Hudson Valley, the communities I represent, is home to more than 800 dams and nearly 100 dams known as high-hazard dams, the failure of which could pose a serious risk to the economy and well-being of these communities and families. Unfortunately, during Hurricane Irene, many folks were impacted because of a dam failure. Many of my neighbors in Tuxedo's East Village were devastated when the Echo Lake Dam released an estimated 100 million gallons of water. Some people in Tuxedo reported seeing an 8-foot wall of water rushing towards the town, causing catastrophic damage to the infrastructure and costing millions of dollars in property damage. Folks like John and Lisa Petrillo, who live in the East Village, the failure of this dam flooded their home, cracked their foundation, and ripped the deck off their house. For Gary Phelps, it meant more than $125,000 in property damage. And for businesses such as SOS Fuels, it meant their headquarters was condemned, and in mere minutes, the flood carried away cars and appliances. Folks lost their furniture, valuables, and their homes. From 2005 to 2009, 132 dams failed. So it is critical that every single community across the country be prepared and be protected. And they can be with this program. This important motion will make the final version of the Dam Safety Program even better by authorizing the Dam Safety Program at $9.2 million per year over the next 5 years. $9.2 million, which could itself be less than the cost of a single dam failure. And yet we know that in just a 5-year period, 132 dams failed. The National Dam Safety Program provides vital support to assist states like mine, New York, in developing emergency action plans, implementing existing dam safety programs, assisting with the purchase of equipment, and conducting dam inspections. For the first time, the Senate provision would provide public awareness and outreach funding, an essential step to ensure that all citizens understand the need to prepare for, mitigate for, respond to, and recover from dam incidents and failures. It's far past time to start paying attention to a program that can make a real difference in people's lives, especially a program that has passed on a bipartisan basis since 1974. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I reserve the balance of my time.